fun the game would be. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel and welcome back to XDefiant. The final update went live today, which added all the Season 3 content, but then a whole bunch more. Mark Rubin took to Twitter to let us know that we're getting content from Seasons 4, 5, 6, and 7 also added into the game. Not everything per se, but everything they were working on essentially. They threw it all into XDefiant today, and holy hell, I cannot begin to tell you guys how amazing this stuff is. Let's talk about the new content, for example. We have 6 new arena maps, 3 new linear maps, plus the 4 maps that came out with Season 3, totaling in 13 new maps to play on. We have 3 new factions, all with unique abilities, ultimates, and passives, 7 new guns, a lot of the ones that were leaked before, like the FAMAS, the G36, the Tommy gun, there's a new light machine gun, the M1A marksman rifle, there's a new sniper rifle and a pistol, there's new animations for your secondaries, there's a ton of new game modes, including party modes, the option to play against bots for less XP, and an entirely separate mode that is similar to games like Counter-Strike or Valorant, with maps that are specific for that game mode. Picture like search and destroy essentially, but you don't have health regeneration. The first round is gonna be like a pistol round, second round's an SMG round, third round's a rifle round, so on and so forth. Really cool, something that they were just gonna add to the game just for fun for people that enjoy that kind of gameplay. Now on top of that, there are tons of fixes and changes, reticle customization, brand new attachments, every camo, every weapon skin, every operator skin, every faction is unlocked. So basically the stuff from future bundles and battle passes is all in the game right now for free for anybody to use, and they also updated the combat records to actually be good. Prestige mode is in the game, new badges are there, character progression is out so you can level up individual operators for each faction and get skins for them. Weapon inspects were added to the game. I cannot begin to tell you guys how good XDefiant feels right now. It's actually unbelievable, but there are 3 very important caveats. Number A, of course, the game is being sunset. This means that no matter what, the servers are shutting down for good in June. There is some hope that a resurgence thanks to this update may actually change Ubisoft's mind, but that's incredibly unlikely to happen. Number B, new people cannot download the game. The only people that can play the game right now are people that still have it installed or people that previously had it installed. So if you're playing on Xbox, PC, PlayStation, or whatever, if you uninstalled XDefiant at any point, but at least you had it at one point, you can still re-download it and still play. And number C, the servers are absolutely terrible right now, like really freaking bad. And I'm not here to say that it's like laggy and I'm dying around corners or anything like that. I mean, you can barely connect to the game, and when you do, it takes forever and it makes playing very difficult. I streamed the new update today for about 5 hours over on Twitch, and in total, I only played 16 matches in that time. And assuming matches are anywhere from 8 to 12 minutes, this means that roughly half my time played on stream was like this, just black screened, waiting for the game to load essentially. Like I played for 2.5 hours and I waited for 2.5 hours. That's not very good whatsoever. If you're somebody that has any kind of a schedule to keep or responsibilities or anything, you cannot justify trying to play a game like this where it takes you 10 minutes to get into a match. I'm not entirely sure what's causing this. I'm no engineer, but perhaps, I suppose it's possible they got rid of a bunch of servers because the game's being sunset, right? The game's essentially going to slowly die between now and June, and this big influx of new players returning is maybe causing the remaining servers to not really run right. I don't know. Again, I'm not an engineer. That's just my working theory. Hopefully it's something that they can work on. They essentially have a skeleton crew working on the game right now, but maybe that's something that can be fixed, or if not, we kind of just have to wait for more people to leave the game, which feels really bad. I'm not entirely sure what's going on. What I do know, however, is that when you can get into the game, holy hell is this fun. It's amazing, actually. The new factions are awesome. The new guns are super fun to play with, even though things like the G36 were not ready. It's very clear that the G36 was not meant to come out with Season 3, but they were already kind of working on it. They're like, screw it, we'll throw it into the game. We know people like this gun, and the reload animation doesn't even quite work right. It kind of just models and mimics the AK-47, but regardless, they threw it into the game for players to play with. And the maps, ladies and gentlemen, let's talk about the maps here. Freaking beautiful. The art team killed it like they had throughout the entirety of XDefiant. Like, the art team is so freaking talented over there. Like, those people should not have to worry whatsoever about job security when they move on to a new project or to a new team. These guys are incredible, like really freaking good. But the maps themselves, why can't COD have maps like this? Like XDefiant's maps, they play so well, and these ones that we're going to be coming out with Season 3, 4, 4, 5, and 6, and 7 apparently. They're so unique with how they play. There's so many different random little things about the maps, like different unplayable areas that would kill you if you go into them. Very unique structures as well. Classic 3-lane maps, with the exception of the Enchanted Forest, which you guys are seeing some of that right here. The Enchanted Forest, it's based off of Rayman, and what fun this is. Like, I had Aches in my Twitch chat earlier today. He's watching us while me and Nate were playing during the live stream, and he said, yeah, this map's not really meant to be competitive or anything. Apparently it's pretty good for 4v4, but it's meant to just be fast, chaos, and fun, and just don't take it too seriously. And look at the map, for crying out loud. We're jumping around on like mushrooms or wherever the hell. It's not meant to be serious. It's meant to be fun, which is what XDefiant was always about. And it's just so sad, honestly, to play the game now, because this update is so good. All the maps, all the guns, the factions, everything being added is so much fun to play with. And we just know that the game is going to continue to slowly die until June, and then it's going to go away forever, and we're never going to be able to play the game again. What potential this game had. Like, they had all of the Ubisoft universes at their fingertips, essentially, which is why we see maps like this in XDefiant. They could have done so much crazy stuff with this game. The sky was really the limit when it came to what factions they could add, what maps they could add, what weapons they could add, what blueprints they could add. There's some Rayman blueprints and stuff like that that you can use on certain guns. I think the P90 might have one of them. Like, why in the world did they cancel this game? And I'm seeing reports popping up all over online that essentially, and I can't really verify any of this, it's what I've heard, relaying information here, but don't take it as fact, take it with a pinch of salt. But what I'm hearing is Ubisoft is just getting rid of all of its assets, essentially, and it's going to be basically just being sold off. So XDefiant being shut down isn't necessarily their fault. It's Ubisoft basically saying, yeah, we're shutting down most things, and then we're just going to go away and sell off to a bigger company, is my understanding of what's happening. Maybe somebody who's a bit more educated can let us know more down there in the comments. But that's kind of what I'm hearing, because XDefiant's player count, while lower than anticipated, was not so low that they could not keep the lights on. I've been hearing that Mark Rubin was informed of the shutdown like 1 week before it happened, and that most of the other devs that were working on the game, they found out like a day or two before the shutdown announcement that XDefiant was going away. So it's definitely something on Ubisoft's end, and they had so much potential with this game, and they're just letting it die. And the amount of people I saw in my chat today just talking about how sad it is to see all this new content, all the work, all the effort that they were putting into this game, just for Ubisoft to shut it down before it even really got running. Like 6 months is all they gave XDefiant. And while yes, the game had issues, I did an entirely separate video roughly a week ago, within the past week, talking about the downfall of XDefiant and the lack of progression and lack of updates and lack of things to do, and just how the game was moving kind of at a snail's pace. All that stuff is true, but this is the stuff that they were working on. We kept hearing about the stuff that was coming, the stuff that was going to be added in future seasons, how everything was going to be fantastic. And it turns out they weren't lying. It turns out these new weapons were going to be awesome. The new factions were going to be freaking awesome. The limited time modes, there's so many random limited time like party modes and everything that are permanently in the game now until it shuts down anyway. All of that stuff is here. They were really cooking with this game, and I don't see a scenario where any person who is in any kind of management position could look at all this content and see all the things that they were working on and then just say, nah, we're gonna pull the plug. It's definitely some fuckery happening over at Ubisoft, and I think we're all in agreement that it is an absolute travesty that this game got shut down. Let's talk about Prestige Mode really quickly. I want to cover some of this stuff, man, because it's so freaking good. Prestige Mode, we've wanted it since the launch of the game, and what they gave us was a classic Prestige Mode. Now, I will say they missed the mark a little bit, because one of the selling points for XDefiant was no skill-based matchmaking and classic prestige and fast core gameplay, you know? Well, Black Ops 6 came out, and I will say Black Ops 6's prestige mode's better. Like, Black Ops 6's prestige mode is one of the most amazing things that Call of Duty has ever done, not only because prestige mode itself is good, but also all the prestige rewards. But what we have here in XDefiant is pretty interesting as well. So essentially, once you finish your base challenges, this may be different for different people that have done different things, but for me, I had to finish up my base challenges, which meant I had to get the new smoke grenade that came out today by doing a challenge. Once I was able to do that, I was able to enter first prestige. There were going to be 10 prestiges in the game, and how it worked was there was going to be like this gear track, essentially. So you would level up throughout your prestige, and it doesn't seem like it takes very long to prestige whatsoever. I got a quarter of the way through the prestige, playing only a couple of hours today, because in reality, most of my time was spent waiting. So you level up throughout your prestige, and then you slowly unlock different things throughout your prestige. So on the gear track there, you get, what was it, 14,500 XP, and then you unlock the TAC 50. Now you're on tier 2, 2, which I think was for the MP5, then tier 3, tier 4, tier 5, all the way up to around tier 29, I think, where it unlocked everything for your character. So it did limit you a little bit in what you could actually do. That was the cost of prestiging, essentially. You had to slowly re-unlock all the things that you had unlocked previously. You didn't lose your skins, you didn't lose your attachments or your weapon levels or anything like that, but you could only use the things that you had unlocked during your prestige, which added some challenge to the game. It was a lot of fun, actually, running around the default M4 class, because that was all I had unlocked at the time. Prestige mode would have been good. They definitely could have expanded upon it in the future. The game was set to be out for years and years and years, and no doubt it would have gotten better over time, but at least now we get to see what it would have been like, and we can think to ourselves what might have been if this were in the game at launch. The new factions, man, freaking incredible. You have the Assassins faction, which I love this ability right here. It basically allows you to stalk other players on the enemy team. You can see where they're running by that red line right there. Their passive is you can actually execute enemies by going behind them and using your hidden blade, which ties into the Assassin's Creed faction. You have the Blood Dragon Omega Force faction, which is so freaking cool, dude. I never actually played that game, but if it's all about like synthwave and mullets and cyborgs and shit, I feel like I should play it just because I played as this character right here. You have your shuriken, which is really cool. You also have a dash that allows you to kind of like EMP and stun your target if you hit them as you're dashing towards them. And then the ultimate's a giant death laser that uses your own health as ammo, so you can combine that with the Libertad faction with their ult and their healing to make it so you can use your ultimate for even longer. They were really working hard on these factions. And then the Wolves, the mine is really good, their ult is really good. I didn't play as much with them, but holy hell, the 3 new factions are so fun to play with. The dreaded spider bot got reworked. I didn't run into a single one today, but they reworked the spider bot to make it so it's an EMP that kind of like follows people around and goes after enemy equipment and stuff, so it doesn't hug your face anymore. Like, this update was such a win for the player base, but at the same time, it's so bittersweet because we know that the game is being sunset. We know that the game is going to be getting shut down in June. It's sad, man. It really is. There are petitions, and I'll put a link to it down there in the description. There are petitions to try to save XDefiant, but ultimately, it comes down to Ubisoft, and it seems like Ubisoft is just throwing everything away right now, essentially. It's crazy. The CEO of Ubisoft, just a couple months ago, I made a video on it, said that the future of XDefiant is bright, that the game is doing great, and this, that, and the other, and now here we are. And we can see with our own eyes and our fingers on our controllers and shit, like how good this stuff was actually going to be, which just makes the entire scenario even more sad. Ladies and gentlemen, that is going to be it for this video here today. Expect more XDefiant videos, believe it or not, here in the near future, because again, the servers were so bad, I wasn't able to play all that much. I got 16 games in over the course of 5 hours, but even then, 16 games playing with the new guns on the new maps and everything, I still haven't experienced half of what they added in today's update. That is how freaking crazy these things are. So guys, stay tuned for that. I hope you enjoyed this video here today. Leave your thoughts and feedback on XDefiant down there in the comments. Thank you all so much for listening, and I hope you guys all have a wonderful day.
Playing with you. I'm like 12 seconds behind.
End is near.
I ain't turning your stream off, but this was the greatest, like 17th greatest moment of my life. Thank you.